Y'all, San Myshuno is so pretty, especially in this neighborhood of the Spice District. Like, I just love the vibes here. Like, all of the brownstones, the apartment buildings, these steps that come up. I just really enjoyed the vibe. So, today I'm going to share with you a lot that I made maybe 2 years ago now, I think. Anyway, so I really like the San Myshuno Spice District vibe, and I wanted to make something that would blend in, but also give me like city vibes, like New York vibes. I've never been there, but from the essence, it's like dripping with this, like, big city life. So, yeah, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So, I'm gonna hop into the game. Here I am. I can control the camera now. And as you can see, oh my gosh, San Myshuno's neighborhood is done really, really well. This is the Spice District, as I was saying, and it's just, covered with these beautiful apartment buildings. So I wanted like a brownstone that sort of worked as a townhouse. And so I made it on this lot right here in the corner. So, if you're familiar with this area of San Myshuno, this is usually a 30 by 30 lot, and I think by default there's a karaoke bar here. I've made this lot a couple of different things, but anyway, for my growing together family, this is what I ended up coming up with. Isn't it beautiful? So, it's literally like a multi story townhouse, one house with different floors with multiple bedrooms and everything that I wanted to do with my family as far as gameplay. So I'm going to give you a full tour and we're going to get into the details and I'm going to share some things, and I feel like some of you might like a lot like this as well. So yeah, I just wanted to share. Before I get into the tour, let me acknowledge that where you can find this if you're interested, so this is called the Big City Townhouse. It literally has 7 bedrooms. It's on this 30 by 30 lot, but it's versatile because there are other 30 by 30 lots in the game, so if you want to plop it somewhere else you can. And just like with my previous videos, I have a gallery ID called Marsh Attack 12. I make builds for gameplay and storytelling, and so there's a little bit of everything here, so feel free to have a browse. Alright, so let's get into the tour. So before we go on the inside, let's talk about what's on the outside. So currently we've got quite a bit going on that I want to give attention to. The first thing is, one, we have a sidewalk here. So in order for me to put an actual townhouse here that stood alone, I had to do a couple of things to make this believable. One, it couldn't stand here by itself, so I had to put a shell here. And I had to put some sidewalk here to make it look believable. And I think we did a good job. I even put these little trees inside of fencing to make it feel more city-like. So I'm liking the vibe. The other thing that is pretty cool with this build is, I don't know if you can notice, but there is a stairwell on the side of the house. So that's good because realistically you would have that sort of thing for fire escapes. I was able to pull it off here with ladders, and there's a little step in the back. So that's how we pulled that off. And it's functional because I did use the high school years windows to pull it off. You'll see how that works when we get to that part of the tour. But the other thing I want to give attention to is the yard. So one thing that I thought would be cool to have in the city is actually yard space, because we got the Growing Together pack. I wanted to use the features. And the house that I made before this was not the first attempt. I made an attempt before this and it was just so wide I had no yard space. So I wanted to make sure this had yard space, somewhere to actually play with your kids, toss a football or a soccer ball, play with the different types of seasons, when these trees bloom, or when they fall in the fall season, you'll be able to rake leaves normally, and I like that. I also wanted to make sure I had room for a tree house, so there's a tree house over here for gameplay. And I wanted to, have a yard sale, sell baked goods. So this is a very versatile lot meant for a lot of gameplay, and one of my builds that I'm very proud of, and that's very sentimental to me because I did a great job and I played in this house, so there are some memories in this house. Now, to the back there is a tiny bit of a courtyard, so you do get like a cement area, which is good for like backyard parties. Courtyard parties actually is probably what's the better term for it. But there's so much more to this. So now let's get into the interior. And before I go inside, let me just say these windows are beautiful. So I used the set that came with Discover University, and these are perfect for those sort of, city townhouse sort of vibes. So, love that. All right, so I'm going to go down to the main level, that is the stoop. So, let's go ahead and go down. Don't want to reveal too much too early. All right. And here we are. Now what's so cool is I love this door. It's one of my favorite doors. It came with the Strangerville pack, and you can't use this door on everything. I wish we had a door like a regular height door that worked for standard walls, because I make more standard walls than I do tall, but I had the opportunity to use this door because the walls are tall here. So let's go ahead and go inside. Now inside we got a bit of an entryway and access to the basement. So I stacked the staircases in this house, so all of the stairs will be on one side of the house. And this is our entryway. Now if it looks pretty blank here, it's because I usually will put family photos on the wall, and trust me, I did. It's just that I played here and then my family moved and I took their photos with them. So if you download this from the gallery, there will be photo frames already here. And like I always do, I love adding the little seasons thermostat and the umbrella stand because I just love that for gameplay. Now, I love living on this lot. The only reason I had to move was because there's a lot of stairs. So if you don't mind the stairs, then you will love it here. But yeah, so this is the living room. Isn't it beautiful? So I knew I wanted more of a darker, cozy vibe with the house. So this was sort of the aesthetic that I filled out. And it's not bad. I don't have a coffee table in here. I really didn't want one because I wanted to move the playmat for infants. So if I didn't want the infant to be in the room, I could bring them downstairs and actually put the playmat in the middle of the floor and have that extra, gameplay with the child right in front of me. So if I want to be in my living room, I can be in my living room and with my infant at the same time. Now what you don't see is a TV here. And that is because they did not watch TV in this living room. This living room is just for socializing, relaxing, hanging out, reading a book. I have another room in this house that was meant for the family media. So there's literally a media room. So yeah. Another thing is that I do remember I was watching Brownstone tours, and I've seen some really amazing brownstones, $1 million ones. It's insane. The cool thing about this is that there is a family shared computer here that is available to anybody that's in the household, and it has these beautiful windows in front of it where you can look out into the city and see what's going on. Now this was really cool. I'm usually not a scenic person. I don't really care for the views that you get in your Sims game, but this was really nice. And even when I was playing outside of the house, I could see who was on the inside. It was pretty cool. So I love that. And you know what? Something like this might be really cool for San Sequoia as well. So we'll get to those builds. But all right, let's head on over here. before I talk about all this stuff over here, I know that I have a powder room here just for convenience, and this is great because you don't know what guests or family members are on this level. And to me, every level your own should have a bathroom or a restroom of some sort, because it's The Sims, and when they can't hold it, they can't hold it. So here is our actual dining space. I tried to make it more rustic, more down to earth, and not too fancy, because that was just the vibe of my family. So anyway, this is what I came up with. It's pretty simple and to the point. And this is our little kitchenette. Also very simple and to the point. I always do this where I put shelves in the kitchen to where they have somewhere to store their preserves or their little bottles. Very nice. And I also played with the Dream Home Decorator stovetop and oven. So really love that. And we do get views outside of the kitchen, so you're able to see what's going on. So love that. And we do have access to the backyard over here, so I'm gonna go there. Got a stereo. That was my growing together dad's stereo. He loved that. So from here you can see the little balcony view. So this is the thing I had to think of that was pretty tricky. So I knew I wanted this to be the main level, right? But this main level is not on the ground. So I'm like, how do I have access to the backyard? Even though I'm not connected to the backyard. And the thought of a staircase made a lot of sense. So that's what we did. So you'll be able to access it just like how you would any normal house. So that was the thinking behind it. And now let's go ahead and go upstairs. So let me, there we go. Bring the camera down a little bit. I feel like every time I go upstairs, the camera just goes a little bit higher. Now, as you can see, I'm zooming. That's the thing with these townhouses. The higher you go up, I was already on the second floor. Because technically the main level is in The Sims, the second level, but realistically that's the main level anyway. So this is the window I was telling you guys about. It's a high school years window, and it's a fire escape. So you can literally come out here and take the ladder down, and you'll be on ground level. So pretty cool. And then if you wanted to go up, if you had a teenager maybe sneaking over, you could play out that vibe. So there's more. All right, so there are multiple rooms on this floor, so let's get into it. So another family frame if you wanted to add some more family photos. And then this is the room that I use for my growing together parents. So pretty cool. And like I said, they had frames above their bed, so you'll get that when you get the downloaded version of this. And I was obsessed with the Modern Luxe kit. I just thought it was such a beautiful kit, so I used it a lot. And I also paired it with this high school years dresser set, so those were my favorite pieces. And then they have the infant crib. So yeah, it just made sense that you have your baby and then have them here. So nice window view, very gorgeous. And of course they have an ensuite. So here is that ensuite. And oh my gosh, this just makes me feel like I'm living in the city. Why is my camera so low? Jesus. All right, that's better. A little high, but better. Okay. But yeah, this is the house. All right, now moving on to the next room. Oh yeah, I forgot we have a piano up here. I needed somewhere to put the piano. I just didn't know where, and so I stuck it in the hallway. So now anytime my sim, the mother of my family, wanted to practice with her piano, she would do it right here in the hallway. So I always wanted to keep this thing around. I love this object. It's so cool looking. And let me see. This is our infant son's room. So we did pretty well. So I want to say by default, I can't remember if this comes already set up for you in the version that you get. I want to say I did have furniture in the version on the gallery, but it's like pre-set up for a kid. It has that feel of furniture. It's not too cluttered. But when I moved in, I put this here because they were expecting, and this was the full-blown nursery. So not only did the baby have a crib in their room, but it made sense for the baby to have their own room to hang out in. So I actually made a nursery for their son. So yeah, this is his room. His name was Mosiah. He's such a cute little baby. And that baby has been an infant forever. I've not aged him up at all. And the lights are off in here, but there's a cute little light here, rocking chair, so you can come in and sit and watch your baby on the play mat, read him a book. Yeah, this is such a vibe. But yeah, the wallpapers were different, but this is a good layout of a room. And last but not least, we have a guest room. So I want to say by default this comes empty. But we set it up in here to have the mother-in-law come over as a stayover guest, and she would help with our infant. So yeah, nice size room, simple to the point. And there's a bathroom here because you need something for your secondary rooms, somewhere for your Sims to tinkle that don't have an ensuite. So all right, and let's go ahead and go upstairs. Like, mind you, the higher I go, the faster my movement is, so I can't help it if I'm just speeding through. So sorry. I clicked the button one time and I'm just tap tap, gone. But yeah, like I said, other fire escape. If I go out the window, like as you can see, we got rooftop views, and yeah. So if your teen sim sneaks out, this is where they would go. That was a pretty cool thing to have. But yeah, let's slow it down a little bit because this camera got me going everywhere. There's 1, 2, 3 rooms up here, plus a terrace, an upper terrace. So that's pretty cool. That's a bonus balcony area. All right, so let's look. We've got a bathroom here for anyone that's on this level. Nice. And then in the other room, we've got another big spacious bedroom. Love this. With gorgeous windows. I love these. And then over here, we've got another room. Now, I want to say in my build, I turned this into the music room. Something for the mom to, practice her piano in. So, that was the deal with that. And then let me show you the terrace area. So, just somewhere where you could come to at night and just relax and, watch the stars. So, it's pretty cool. I really liked it over here. Also, I did add a ladder. So, one of the things that I thought would be cool would be, to get on top of the building, because why not? I feel like if you're going to live in the city and have access to a fire escape or, stairwell, why not be able to access the roof anyway? So, not that anybody would come up here and sleep on the roof. Well, my Sims kind of did. I did have family over, and they, grandma and grandpa did. It was cute. It was a thing. But anyway, what I did with the roof in gameplay was actually come out here to watch the fireworks. Because if you have the seasons pack, or, well, I don't even think it's seasons, but anyway, I had a holiday. I just fell off the roof. Give me a second, guys. Where did it go? Oh my gosh, I'm losing myself. Anyway, I had a seasons pack. Sorry for all the jumping. It gets finicky when you move the camera above a level. But anyway, I had the idea of popping fireworks on the 4th of July. Um, and that's what they did. It was cute. So everybody came up here, and just by default, San Myshuno, they pop fireworks as well. Um, you only see them. Where do you see the fireworks? You see them at during the festival times, but yeah, I had a holiday set and I had a big family party gathering, and so a lot of us just hung out and popped fireworks. So I had my son purchase fireworks off the computer, and then they came up here to the roof to just set them off. So it was a whole thing. I really enjoyed it. Very nice. All right, so let's go back down with all this different camera jumping and all of that. Let's go back to the main level. So now that we got all those levels out the way, I want to show you guys the garden level. So I call it the garden level because I believe that's what they're called in New York. And all that means is that this is just the main level to like literally the ground level. So instead of going up the stairs to the stoop to the main door, this is just what you would see. And some people would treat this like a basement, but I'm calling it the garden level because I actually do have an additional basement. Like literally there's more stairs to go under. So there's more. There is more. There's so much to this house. But anyway, down here we're underneath the kitchen. And so I did make a hangout area. So you have a hangout area back there in the courtyard, and you have a hangout area where the actual TV is. So I mentioned this earlier, in which I'm like, there's no TV upstairs because I made a specific area where the family could go and watch TV. So yeah, those are the two areas down here, and it made sense to have a little snack bar. So whether you are going to go watch TV or going outside in the patio courtyard where you can have a barbecue, it made sense to put snacks over here. So that's what I did. And yeah, it was a pretty cool idea. I really like how this came out. This house was amazing. I really loved it. The only thing was how long it takes them to go up and down the stairs. So that was the only reason I couldn't stay here. But I really had a lot of fun in this house. Alright, so going out here to the actual patio courtyard. This is like a cute little area that I have back here for a hangout. So whether you're a teen or whether you're just dad and you feel like barbecuing, having the guys over, or mom could be having a hangout out, who knows. But yeah, it was just a nice little hangout session. I always loved this furniture pieces from high school years, so I put it here. And then if you didn't know, we have this portable bar that came with Get Together, and it has these little twinkly lights. So I thought these were pretty good for outside. And I do have this access way to the yard because if the kids come outside through the back of the house, they can easily access the yard. So I was thinking of the kids. And then also I want to point out, this is a shell next door, but I wanted to make it believable too. So they have their own backyard back here. So this is just a shell that I found in Debug. I needed one that would fit the lot, so I think I kind of had to shrink it a little bit. And then I just used some gates. I used some gates, some fences to kind of border off the area. It still looks believable, but you would never know. You would have no idea. So some Debug shells Sims walk through, you won't have to worry about Sims walking through this shell because of how I set it up. Anyway, let's move on. So let me actually show you what's on this level. Oh, there's doors here. Let me show you what's through this door. So this would be another stayover room. So this was the official stayover room. I want to say I had both sets of grandparents over. So we had both in-laws for my mom and dad of the growing together family that I had. And one stayed in this room and the other stayed in the other guest room that you saw. This is a big house. I just love the windows in here. But yeah, I love that you can let this down. So I love that. I used to be scared of the Murphy bed because I didn't want to unalive my Sims on accident. But I did get over that fear because I do know that there is a buff that is a warning. So you won't have to worry about them accidentally, um, accidentally having that issue. You always will get the warning first. So basically, they will get hit first. And then from that hit, don't mess with it anymore. So if you didn't know, now you know. All right, let's go on ahead. And got laundry in here because I love laundry day. We even left clothes here. That's crazy. Machine still on, clothes still here. It's been years. They've moved out of this house and it's been a while, and they freaking left their clothes. That's funny. That is so funny. But let's go into this room. This is a full bathroom down here for anybody in the guest room. And it's convenient because whoever's watching TV can also use the toilet at the same time. So, very nice. And this is the media room. So, basically, I said that I wanted somewhere for the whole family to hang out and, like, actually bond together. So, they can come down here and they can watch movies together. That's what I envisioned. And I actually did do that. Oh, I'm trying to think. Did we have a family reunion? I don't think we threw the reunion event, but I think we had just a family get together and like just a little barbecue day with the family. We kicked it out here. The kids weren't old enough at the time, but the way I set this will be good for if you have older kids. I had babies at the time, and like all the rest of the family were adults. So there's plenty to interact with in here that, you know, it's, as you can see, it's styled for children and to be family friendly. However, my infants didn't get to grow up to enjoy this. But yeah, this is a good hangout spot for the family to watch movies, play video games, listen to music. It's a good party space. So if you want to throw a party here, and then you can have mom and dad upstairs, supervising from time to time. But this will be a perfect place to, have a teen hangout, slumber party event, because I love the idea of that. You know how I like that. But yeah, really cool. And plus, I made this little cubicle here. I know that San Myshuno has its own collectibles with the snow globes. So I thought, why not have a little shelf unit in case you wanted to collect them and like display them. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. And you come down here with your infant little baby, and they could play in their little play mat while you watch some TV. And of course, growing together comes with this gaming table, so you'll be able to have some fun, play symbols, play puzzles. What's the other one? Don't Wake the Llama. Just a good time. Cards with the family. Toy box over here for when your kid's a toddler. Just good stuff. And we got a little section over here for the kids, so kids can come here and do their homework. They can also read a book, and then we can set notes and curfew with the family bulletin board. So this is a room made specifically for family gameplay. There's literally everything here. And because this is the garden level, you have the street literally right here. So you can come out here and still enjoy this, and people watch whoever's walking by. The cool thing about San Myshuno is if you live across the street, anything that's happening over there is so easy to access. So you can tell when something's going on. There'll be like, the lights and the festival posters and everything. But yeah, pretty cool. I really like that about this house. And I had to make a little entryway down here as well because it made sense. So yeah, that is our little family media room. I want to know your thoughts. I have to know your thoughts about all these rooms and all these like different levels in this house. It's crazy how much there is. And if you would use this house, or is this too much for you? Too much space? Is there such thing as too much space? I would love to know. And over here, we've got access to like the basement, the literal basement that's below ground level. So, all right. I do know that I wanted my Sims to be able to work out and to, partake in some workout activities. So, I like the idea of them having a gym down here. So, uh, I didn't want to do it up too much because they're not like heavy like gym bros or whatever, but just a nice home gym in which, mom and dad could, do their standard like just physical activity like any normal parents. And then I even offered a cheer mat because I'm like, if you have a teenager, again, my Sims didn't grow up to be teens yet because they're still infants, but I put this cheer mat here for when I have teenagers. It'd be great to see them practice some cheer. So yeah, it's an official gym. And I put the yoga mat because that made sense too. We're gonna have a little yoga. And then over here we got a little wall of lockers. They like literally set it up as a little gym space. And we got two areas down here. So go through this door. This is why would I leave that there? So this is the storage room. I literally wanted a storage room that was solely a storage room because it would be somewhere where I kept the Christmas tree. Also be somewhere where I kept the camera and tripod. Like I literally use this for storage. There's even an inventory box over there. So that's what this was for. You can make this into a home office if you want to. You can make it into a crafting room. It's very versatile. There's plenty of space. And also, these candles, they're not in the original build. I have my Sims use this attic stack box a lot. So even when they're not decorating, I'll have them pull out like the object decorations in case they want to resell it or make extra money, or just for storytelling. It's just a really good animation. So I really like that. So that's why these random objects are here. They're not, you won't find this in what you download. So don't worry. And last but not least, there's one other room down here. And can you guess what's behind this door? Let's see. And voila, it's a full bathroom. So that makes sense if you have a gym that you're going to need somewhere to come shower. And what a pain would it be to, have to go up 2 stories just to use a shower. So I went ahead and made one right here, and toilet as well. So you're all set. So that is it. That is all the areas of this house. This house is huge, and I had a good time here. Like I said, this was pretty cool. We have all these levels. So that was the basement. This is the garden level with the back patio, access to the yard, all of that. And then even like a front little, porch area. We got the main level with the actual like living, dining, and kitchen area. Very nice. We got the bedroom level. Well, technically 2 bedroom levels, but yeah. The room with the primaries over here in the ensuite. So I want to say this is the only one that has an ensuite. This is the only primary in this place. But yeah, the extra rooms are over here. And then if we go up to another level, we got the 2 extra bedrooms. So yeah, can you believe this has 7 bedrooms? That's crazy. And a terrace up here. So you got a terrace plus, roof access. So you've got a lot going on in this house. Roof access, terrace, multiple rooms, the stairwell. It's oh my goodness. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see. 6, and down here makes 7. So, wow. All right. Well, that is it, everybody. That is our brownstone house. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. I don't know why I didn't turn on the light for you guys. I know the morning time looked darker. This afternoon looks a lot more brighter. But yeah, It's a vibe. Anyway, like I said, if you're interested in this, you can find it on my gallery. This is called the Big City Townhouse. It is 7 rooms, like we said, 6 toilets. It's a lot of money, but if you don't care and you're just in it for the storytelling, go ahead and feel free to download this. My gallery ID is MarshaTac12. So there you have it. And this was so fun. It was nice to revisit this, especially after so long. It's been a really long time since I've had this in my build. So, man, it was such a joy to look back on this again. But also, if you guys are interested in more builds from my Memory Lane series, more builds like this, feel free to check out my playlist on the channel as well. Alrighty, so that's it. That's all. Thank you all for stopping by. And until next time, bye.